Unsurprisingly, now that it appears that Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani is poised to win as the new mayor of New York City, his economic wish list has struck terror in the hearts of Wall Street executives, as demonstrated perfectly on CNBC. Take a look.
The rent's too high. You know what? The new mayor potentially of New York is going to freeze the rents and everybody eats for free. So they don't have to worry.
Really?
Yeah.
But how about the rich?
No.
Do they get shot?
No, yes, they get taken away.
Kulaks?
Yes, they
Is
get
this
taken
Lenin
away. We have to go.
In 23?
We have to leave now. But everybody else, there he is, Mamdani. He wants to get the rents down. One good way to do it is to stop all business and drive everybody out. That'll bring the rents down.
Gotham. Have you seen what Batman is up against in Gotham and what the guy running for mayor is up against? That's what it reminds me of. They're taking Wall Streeters and make him walk out onto the ice in the East River as and hope, and then they fall through. I mean, there is a class warfare that's going.
So what's happened here, I think,
is the rich.
Part of the reason why President Roosevelt pursued the New Deal is because he wanted to protect capitalism. I'm not kidding. That was literally a quote of his. He saw that the inequality was leading to a rise in socialism in the country. And he was worried that it was going to impact our capitalistic economy. So he's like, the rich have gotten a little too greedy. We need to do something about this. And the same is happening now, but these greedy folks over at CNBC don't want to do a damn thing to fix it. They like the system the way it is. But if you want to see why, or you want to understand why, someone who has identified himself as a socialist openly, overtly, is somehow appealing to the public, it's because all of that inequality has been destroying their lives for decades now. And the other part of it is, Cenk, I gotta admit, even I watched that compilation of CNBC hosts, like injected in my veins. Like watching that panic is kind of cathartic. Because they got way too greedy, they got way too confident and cocky. And if you want to save capitalism, the American people have to feel that capitalism is working for them. And right now, they're not feeling that way. Inequality has been exploding year after year. People can't afford their freaking rent. So when you have a candidate who says, I'm a socialist and I want to make housing affordable, and the other guy, a corporate Democrat, Andrew Cuomo, has really no solution at all. Yeah, it's not surprising that they would support Mamdani over Cuomo. And by the way, Cuomo is now threatening to run in the next round of this ranked choice voting process as an independent, hoping that he can win. We'll see if that works. But what do you think, Cenk?
Yeah, so that would be in the general election, of course. So first of all, I love the smell of establishment panic in the morning. And so that they're 100% panic. Secondly, look, the super important genie has been let out of the bottle here. For my entire life, mainstream media has been trying to make sure that Democrats don't really serve the average voter. And they always do propaganda like, socialism is going to work here. Okay, what are they like, Mao and like Cuba and Fidel Castro and Mao? Like this is the kind of horse crap propaganda I've heard my whole life. And by the way, not just on Fox News, but all over cable news, right? Anytime you try to help the average American in any way, shape, or form, they smear the living crap out of you, right? So in this case, he's like, look. For example, I don't love rent control. I don't think it's necessarily the right way to keep housing prices down. But should we try something to keep housing prices down? Of course, of course. So Cuomo's answer was, I'm gonna take money from real estate interests and serve them. And that's a terrible answer, terrible, right? And media's like, oh, what a brilliant idea. Take money from real estate interests and let them rob everyone in New York as much as they like. No, not a good idea, awful idea. So Zohran's idea is, hey, I'm going to try to control the pricing somehow, right? And I'm gonna try this and let's see if it works. But mainly, I'm addressing your number one concern. See, politics isn't that complicated. You just have to get around mainstream media. And he did through social media and through so many other ways. He got his message to the people. I'm actually going to try to do something about your housing prices. And that's the thing you care most about.
When Catherine Wild, the CEO of Partnership for New York City, was asked about the business community and how they feel about Mamdani, she simply replied, terrified. Bradley Tusk, CEO of Tusk Ventures, warned that while unlikely, New York could go the way of once very prosperous cities like Detroit and Baltimore that had really big tax bases and then got dirty and dangerous, and the taxes went up too much and people left.
That's not what happened at all.
Okay.
Sorry, just jumping in real quick. Things like the car industry got hurt in Detroit. That's what happened in Detroit. These guys love to lie, man. So is Wall Street going to move out of New York because of Mamdani? I would be dramatically surprised. So let's see what happens. But this is a lot of fear mongering. Like don't vote against the rich. Whatever you do, don't vote against the rich.
And Democratic leadership seems super thrilled about this. Obviously, I'm kidding, because if you take a look at how Hakeem Jeffries, who is the House Minority Leader, responded to a question about Mamdani on Morning Joe this morning, you'll kind of get a sense that leadership not so happy. Take a look.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on him ideologically. Is that does he have an ideology that you would want your candidates in 2026 to have?
Well, from the standpoint of House Democrats and what our focus has been, clearly we have an affordability crisis in the United States of America, and our focus will continue to be on driving down the high cost of living in this country. Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down, they're going up. He's crashing the economy in real time. His tariffs are gonna impose thousands of dollars in additional cost on everyday Americans per year. And he may even be driving us toward a recession. That's the reason why Donald Trump has become so unpopular.
Okay, so look, I don't know if that was an example of robot Hakeem Jeffries just going back to the Trump bad talking points when he's asked something specific about a local mayoral race. But the fact that he had this inability to say anything about Mamdani specifically, I don't know. It kind of tells me everything I need to know about how shills, corporate goons like Hakeem Jeffries feel about Mamdani and his economic policies. Yeah.
And I think there's two things going on here. Actually, three things happening here. So number one, do you want to run every race in the country with Mamdani's policies that he won in New York City with? No, to be honest, right? Because New York City is deep blue. And so he did a brilliant job of running with the right policies in the right place, right? But if you run with those same exact policies, some of them, by the way, will be very popular in Wichita because everybody cares about housing prices, et cetera. And some of them won't be. And so like if Hakeem Jeffries said, hey, listen, everybody's gonna run their own campaign, but I love the Zohran one, but every candidate is their own person, no problem, right? But he did the corporate robot thing and then he switched to the Donald Trump talking points. You're absolutely right about that. But there's two other reasons why Hakeem Jeffries is concerned that are not legitimate. So one is, this guy is super progressive and in New York. Hakeem Jeffries is from New York and Chuck Schumer is from New York. And they're both worried to death about a progressive primary challenger. So they're like, I'm Mamdani. Let me tell you about Donald Trump. Let me tell you about Donald Trump. Yeah, that's what I thought. They're in a cold sweat panic. In fact, if AOC announces a Senate race against Chuck Schumer, boom, it's over. After these results, Chuck Schumer will just retire. There's no way he's gonna get embarrassed by AOC. And everybody knows AOC is gonna win. So that's her Senate seat to pick up if she wants it, right? Schumer will run for the hills. And then there's a third factor. And the third factor is, remember, all these guys are loaded up with AIPAC money. So when they see Mamdani, they've already gotten marching orders. No, that you are all Democratic leadership must be opposed to Mamdani. And they tried to stay out of that race, but we all know they were backing Cuomo, especially Schumer. So now that their guy lost, yeah, they're pretty somber about it.
Yeah. A bunch of right-wingers are super Islamophobic and hateful toward him because he's the first Muslim. If he wins, he'd be the first Muslim mayor of New York City. We don't have time to get to all of them, but I'll read what Laura Loomer posted because she's a bigoted piece of trash. She says, if the Muslim Brotherhood would have been designated as a terrorist organization, Zohran Mamdani could have been prevented from running for office. Get right. Listen, honestly, Laura Loomer is like bottom of the barrel, okay? Perfectly happy to risk the lives of our soldiers in wars on behalf of Israel. And she has the audacity to impugn the character of a guy simply because he's Muslim. Simply because he's Muslim. And by the way, you don't like his policies, that's fine. Go ahead and talk about his policies, talk about why you don't like those policies, you don't think they're gonna work. But attacking someone simply because they're Muslim is gross. Just like, maybe I'll put it in the context that Laura Loomer can understand. Just like how it's disgusting when someone is attacked for being Jewish. That's unacceptable, right? So why is it acceptable for her to specifically attack him over his identity? And I've seen it all over the place. Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is disgusting. She shared an image of the Statue of Liberty, obviously wearing, what is that, a niqab?
Burqa.
Or a burqa, yeah. Gross, it's just gross all the way around. Accusations that now Sharia law is coming to New York City. It's pretty gross how bigoted and openly Islamophobic pretty prominent members of the right happen to be. Again, you don't like his policies, attack his policies. But when you attack his identity, makes you look dumb and hateful, and that's it.
Yeah, so Charlie Kirk wrote, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. And a Muslim plumber will show up and help you with your sink later today, and a Muslim dentist will remove your cavity. Why are we listing random Muslim folks? So look, you know what's going on here. And this is part of the problem with the radical right. Obviously, it's the main problem with the radical right. They also have their purity tests, but their purity tests are oftentimes based on race, religion, ethnic background. And if you're not one of them, then you're part of the 9/11 bombers. Like, what's amazing to me is like what Anna referred to there, that like if you said this about Jewish people, some like, I don't know, Son of Sam was a serial killer in the city in the 1970s and he was Jewish, and now a Jewish guy has won the mayorship. You'd be like, what? Okay, like number one, enormously hateful, but number two, super random. Are you really that dumb that you think that every Jewish person acts the same? And that's basically what I asked Charlie Kirk in on X. I'm like, do you really think that all Muslims are like the 9/11 bombers? Can anyone really be that ignorant? And then as you see the replies from some of the radical right, the answer is, yeah, a lot of people can be that incredibly ignorant. They really have it in their mind. And it got there partly through right-wing media and partly through mainstream media. And that's why I was so enraged about mainstream media just a couple of days ago, right, on this issue. They really like drilled it into people's heads that Muslims are terrorists and savage and violent, and that's all they are. And so now a lot of radical right believes that, and it's totally nuts. So, all right, anyways, when he turns out to be a normal mayor, maybe they'll begin to see, oh, Muslims are humans too. Okay, welcome to planet Earth.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.